tooth archetypes. Each tooth has an archetype that consolidates and extends the associations or interpretations that come from looking at quadrants, from looking at tooth types, and from looking at meridians. But the two archetypes are so much more than the sum of those parts. That's really the heart of my book, The Secret Lives of Teeth, the middle 5 chapters. Very detailed discussions of each tooth archetype, its strengths, its vulnerabilities, connections to your ancestral or past lives, the older energies, what it's telling you about the present, what its vulnerability to symptoms in that tooth are trying to tell you. It's too much in the tooth archetype topic for me to fit it into this class. So actually I'm going to do a workshop next week just about tooth archetypes, introducing each of the 32 tooth archetypes. But what I wanted to say today was that this is my original framework. So the quadrants, the tooth types and the meridians and the tooth surfaces are all frameworks that other people have developed and that I have learned and shaped and adapted into my own language with my own concepts through my work with my clients. But the tooth archetype system really is my original work, which I'm incredibly proud of and so excited to share with everyone. So I'm going to give you a little tiny taster of the central incisor archetype. So these are the very front, the center teeth, top and bottom. The central incisors archetypes are all to do with your socialization as an infant and toddler. So that means how you learned how to be a human in your family and in your community and your society. And the people who taught you how to be a human in those contexts are very influential on these teeth. They have a lot to do with your experience with gender, but I actually try and avoid using essentialist gendered language when I'm talking about them, because there's so many diverse ways to experience gender. And when we, just kind of rely on those lazy stereotypes of masculinity and femininity, or man, woman, boy, and girl, get kind of limiting. The archetype for your upper left central incisor, so that's very front tooth on the left side of the center line, is the nurturer archetype. And it is responding to your caregiver, the caregiver who was most involved in teaching you and modeling for you how to care for your body, how to feed yourself, how to clean yourself. It's got real associations with your most intimate home, private life. Think about the things you do in the bathroom. That's very much related to that nurturer archetype tooth. Adjacent to it, on the right side of the center line, is the leader archetype, the number 8 tooth. And that is the caregiver who provided boundaries for your protection. It was a guide for you into the wider world, who brought home resources from the wider world to support you in your intimate home life as an infant. The conventional interpretations of those two teeth are mother and father, but that's way too simplistic, because it's really the archetypes and energies of those teeth and much broader than the individual parents who raised you or didn't raise you. And maybe you had one parent who was fulfilling both of those roles, and so their performance or embodiment of those archetypes, that one person's embodiment of those archetypes is reflected in these teeth. So that's the top central incisors. The lower central incisors are much more about how you internalize those lessons about socialization and gender, what you believe without even thinking about it, common sense taken for granted, awareness. And they've got a real toddler energy, these lower teeth. And so number 25, the lower right central incisor, the beast, is about impulsivity, and it's got a lot of momentum. It's very active. It's if you think about that toddler who's got the energy of, I want to do it all myself, I can do it, don't do it for me, and has a big tantrum when you tie their shoes because they can't. That's kind of the energy of that beast tooth. Whereas the number 24, adjacent to it on the left, is an energy of passive compliance. It's a good little child who's like hyper aware of everyone's mood in the room and is trying to like manage everyone's emotions, and it's real people pleasing energy in that lower left central incisor. So as I say, we'll be talking about all of the tooth archetypes in the workshop next week. It'll be much more interactive than this presentation is, and you'll get a chance to kind of do some exercises to get to know your tooth archetypes better.